All right, we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this world. We are so excited to come to you yet again with another opportunity to connect with the founders of BlackFacts. I'm one of your hosts, Christiana Russell. I am partner and COO at We the Plug. We the Plug is a community that works with early stage founders from ideation all the way to first seed round funding. We also operate as conduits and mentors and coaches, connecting folks to experts in the space in order to help grow their startup or continue scaling it. And we hyper focus on Pan African and Latinx founders in the space. If that's something that sounds of interest to you, definitely reach out to us at We the Plug. That's THA, not THE.com. You can find us on all social media platforms. I'm excited yet again to come with another great chat tech talk with the founders of BlackFacts. Dale, how are you doing today? I'm getting a little tongue tied. How are you doing?
I'm all right. This week has just been very busy for us. Um, so I can totally understand feeling tongue tied, just so you know.
It has been a long week. I've been literally multi grant writing this week, along with all the other projects that I got on my plate. So it's been heavy lifting. And we got Ken in the room, and Ken is on location, but it's top secret. We'll talk about that later. But Ken, can you hear
Yeah.
us?
Yep. Hear you just fine.
Excellent.
Okay.
Welcome.
So
Well,
yeah, I'm hoping that Martin will join. I had pinged him that he may be joining in a little while. Um, um, I want to say welcome to everyone in our continued adventures and learning experience here at BlackFacts.com. Black History Month for us is a very special time of the year, which usually has us extremely busy. Not because Black Facts isn't focused on Black history all year round, but because during Black History Month, the rest of the world says, hey, let's pay attention to some Black history. And because of that, we get literally millions of visitors to our website. And we're always, happy to share and spread the message about Black cultural achievement and tell the stories of our heroes and people that you may or may not know that made some significant contributions to society and the Black culture as a whole. Today, we're going to play the Black Fact Minute, which is a fact of the day to get started, and then we're going to talk a little bit about some of the future things that Black Facts is either in the works with or kind of having on the drawing board. There's so many interesting and exciting things that we're playing around with, and we're always excited to share that with our audience. Please go to blackfacts.com and subscribe to our newsletter, because if you do, you will actually get access and get emails, notifications when we do go live with some of these exciting new things. Let me start off with today's Black Fact of the Day. We hope that, the stories that we share with you, like these about the first Black airline stewardess, just open your eyes to some of the groundbreakers and people that have really changed things and opened doors for people of color. And every day when you come to blackfacts.com, you will see a short video like this. And schools more and more subscribing to our content. So our content is actually showing up in school hallways, in their announcement boards, on their websites. I'm getting email even right now from one of the schools because they want to schedule some time to talk further about how to set things up. So we're really excited about the opportunity to continue to spread our message. I see Martin is about to join.
Excellent. And while he's joining, I'm really excited about the work you all are doing in school. It's actually spread out here to San Diego. So we have school districts out here that are interested in partnering with you all. So the word is getting out. So those of you all who are listening, whether you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, reshare this. Again, it's power in sharing. That's how we're going to spread the knowledge. Someone's coming in. We hear.
No, I think that was Ken accidentally hitting the
Okay.
the mute button. There is one thing that is pretty exciting and new for us that we are. I actually shared this with the schools this morning.
Excuse me, Dale.
Yes.
So I'm sorry. Folks are getting ready to pull out of here, so I think I need to kind of, I'm going to be on the road. So I wanted to show the facility a little.
Okay. So, all right. What you may not know about BlackFacts is that we not only focus on the past, but we focus on future and new technologies. And right now, where Ken is in his undisclosed location is our participation in a crypto mining endeavor. And so he's drove all the way across country with about 80 servers. How many?
Yeah, 60. Can you play that video?
Okay, let me find it.
I think I slacked it to you and said 13-second video.
Yep.
You're sharing your screen. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, we got the mining rigs here. Guard dog is doing his job. He's ready to roll out. Cheetah Miner USA on the move.
So that was Ken yesterday, as before he took off, and now he's in the facility. I don't know if you have anything that you can actually show us, Ken.
Yeah. In Detroit, well, it's a raw space. Like this is the transformer. But yeah, it's a big raw space that's going to be built out with like they actually decided instead of building out a room to have a container similar to the one behind me that's going to, right now we got 60 machines. So our friend and partner Hassan Mia, he and his wife are the USA reps of a company called Cheetah Miner USA that makes Bitcoin mining machines. They're going to be getting like around 200 machines over the next month. And so this space behind me is going to be, a facility for the crypto mining operation. The big picture of this is to get, and he said it's all right to say Detroit. He wanted to do it in a major Black city because, part of the objective here is to get Black folks involved in crypto, not just in the, let me try and, make some money trading thing. And let me not just be, maybe I can get an NFT and make money off that. But at the supply side, we're trying to be the house because the house always wins. So hopefully this is going to, create some jobs in a, former industrial capital of the USA and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what we're up to. I'm going to go on mute because we're about to ride out to get, an engineer, and we will see. So I'm going to go on mute. All right, Dale?
Okay.
So this is very exciting. This is like, we're seeing history in the making right now. Like, we can say we were here when this first was in the early conceptualized stage, and now it's like boots on the ground to build it out. I think we have Martin coming in. Hey, Martin.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome. How's your day going?
Pretty good. Not as busy as our brother Ken, but
He's on the
excited.
go, man.
Yeah, excited
Listen,
to see that.
this is,
Very.
you
Definitely gave me
are,
some
Martin, you
inspiration.
know all about how everything related to crypto is taking off, and because you seem to be involved in so many groups that are discussing crypto
You know,
and NFTs and different technologies. But
Dale,
here we are being like, the house. We are going to be
right.
actually just hosting the servers, not just content producers, but every transaction that is occurring, we running through the different servers that we're putting together in the server farm, which puts us at a whole different level.
Dale, I was gonna say I actually don't have a lot of groups that are discussing. So it's interesting. Like I know people who are doing different things, but I've done my best to kind of stay away from the get rich quick scheme spaces all my life, being that my father was a diamond in Amway. So
Oh,
I have made myself scarce, we'll say, from any of the conversations. That said, when I saw our brother Ken, I was reminded of when I drove from New York to Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, and then Cincinnati, and I met brother James Klingman. I drove with a U-Haul truck of used computers. This is 88, 98, and we had refurbished those computers from the UN. And we were building out, I don't know if you remember it, in the late 90s, the big thing was to build out church labs so people could have computer labs in the basement of churches, or some churches were in the basement. It was the room, whatever they had it. But that was the concept. In Harlem, we built one in a basement. But my point was, when I saw the truck and I saw a kid, it triggered the memories. And we were always early. When I say we, I mean Black techies. Those of us that really wanted the community to be a part, like you guys are saying you want, and I say you guys, we want the community to be part of this. So 20 years later, we're doing the same damn thing again to make sure our blood, our sweat, and our sweat equity, to make sure the community really has the entry point into an industry, right? The but part is learning from Digital Divide. Who came in and took credit for that? Al Gore, Darian Dash. Where are both of those two idiots at now? I'm just going to say it like that. Because the Black techies who were on the ground teaching grandma and teaching little Akbar how to turn on 286 and 386 and 486, and before there was net zero, we're not in the history books. So I think when I saw Ken do this, I said, well, we got to, one, create a hashtag for this trip. Two, we've got to create a blog post on the site. And in that site, we should list some facts that we ain't new to this. We did it in 88 with Afrotech. Afrotech is this list of Black people that you could call, bulletin board services. UPenn still has a list up on their site of what numbers you can call in and dial in to talk to Black people around the country. And that was called Afrotech. Sorry, Afronet. And then in 97, Cocoa Bar was the first Black-owned internet cafe. It was owned by
Hello?
Yep. Go ahead, Ken.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
we can hear you.
Yeah, I turned off my video. My little charger is about to go, but actually, before I run out of juice, wanted to respond to a couple of things that you just said, Martin.
Yes, sir.
So, yesterday I was in a meeting. You probably know or you remember Yvette Moyo and Moby. They're having their 30th anniversary. So I was in a meeting with them yesterday. They're going to have a Moby IT Innovators. I won the award in 2002. We're getting some of the folks from as far back as 1999 who won their IT Innovate and Internet Innovators, and are going to be paying homage to some of them and recognizing some up and coming folks. So don't worry, we got some of that covered in terms of some of the earlier folks. You got me?
Well, I'll say this, Ken.
Hello?
It shouldn't have took us 20 years. You follow what I'm
No,
saying?
it's 30 years, but it's okay.
Okay, there you go.
Two other things. I'm down to 2%. I'm down to 2%, so I'm about to drop off.
Right,
but you mentioned, your folks in Amway. My folks, I know. I think I used it up. My folks were in Amway too, and that gave me some of the beginnings of my entrepreneurial spirit that I've used throughout my entire life. And while many people get involved in MLMs for get rich quick, I also was involved with one, but the sister named Linnell Maddox, who was a Mary Kay millionairess, who I actually got content from her daughter recently. We're going to make a video on her. She's a modern day CJ Walker. She had in the 80s, she had 40,000 Black consultants. She was giving away purple Cadillacs. They had a Hawaii conference, and you doubled your money on the product from day one. So it was a solid retail opportunity. We were pulling out sisters from the projects and showing them how to put, $200 to $400 profit in their pocket by doing 2 shows a week. Solid. So a lot of people get involved with things for get rich quick. I don't mess with that either. But we're looking at but when we see some solid opportunities, we're trying to make sure that we're involved at the ground floor.
Hey, Ken, before you drop off, are you documenting any of this? Because one of the things that I was driving home is that oftentimes we lose out on opportunity to document because we're so focused on the actual work. But are you taking any footage of any of this that can be used later in a documentary?
Yeah, a little. Good. Yes, a little. Yes, some of it, not everything. Yeah. But we are trying to save, some of the key things, and we're gonna get Hassan in front of the camera soon, because this is the same brother who has digital bank thing. He's selling NFTs for Russell Simmons, Masterminds of Hip Hop. These all in about getting us involved in this whole Web3 and crypto space.
Excellent.
Okay.
Exciting news.
Yep. All right. So let me. I'm gonna go back on mute. Brother. I'm probably gonna drop off in a few minutes. Thank you. Take it away, folks.
So yeah, what you're seeing on the screen here is some of the concept stuff actually that Ken began putting together around how BlackFacts and some of our partners can begin to lay the groundwork for putting people of color into the metaverse.
Got it.
And interestingly enough, we're even getting connections with some of the gaming companies, because some gaming companies are already on, massive, communities online. And so for them, the metaverse already exists in their gameplay. But we want to make sure that, at BlackFacts, not only are we working on creating our NFTs for the content that we have, we're leveraging our Timbuktu AI engine, but we're working with Hassan Mia, who Ken was just with out in Detroit, who has a digital bank, and it's Black-owned digital bank, and we're looking at setting up our own pay token. We are partnering with like Melanated People, which is one of the largest community sites, social community sites out there for people of color, because we want to make sure that as we kind of tap into some of this new technology stuff, and we are talking to young folks about what's happening in this space, that there's a space that is ours, that it's not always, oh, okay, we're going to become a part of somebody else. So when Ken started, putting together, hey, you know what, in our Meliverse instead of metaverse, and he messed around, Musa World, Afroverse, we're talking about how we can stand up our own little, our little space that we own, that we then, put and stand up our content and make sure that that content is there and accessible to people coming to our space. No longer are we going to be the creators of something that then someone else profits from, and then we've got to go to their space and work with their advertising restrictions and deal with their rules. This Web3 is opening up new avenues that people of colors and creators of color can kind of begin to own their stuff end to end, and leveraging the blockchain to make sure that they get credit when people either view it or play it, or share it with one another. And so we're just playing around with a bunch of ideas and concepts, and we're partnering with so many people. It's really kind of exciting, some of the different things that we're working on. And we're hoping that as we do more, we're also able to bring our community along. And we want to leverage the relationships like those that we have with Martin, those that we're working with. There's a lot of activity around, crypto, and not just people trying to get rich quick, but just around the idea of being able to own your space, own your content. And BlackFacts, Ken is actually working on some really interesting things to automatically create, like we already have our BlackFacts Minute, which we played at the beginning, but Ken actually is working on the ability to create dynamically NFTs for every single fact of the day that we have, so that when we begin to distribute it, when you look at our BlackFacts Minute NFT, it's not just a static, hey, this is one item. It's actually something that automatically, dynamically generates a new video based upon the content for that particular day. And, as anyone who's been to BlackFacts, we have lots of content for every single day. One of the things that, that what is this? There's something came up in the chat.
So Ken sent a link that he had connected to the NFT.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So anyone who's watching, you can click on the link and learn a little bit more while we're going through this with Dale.
Okay, I see. Actually, I could probably just bring it up myself. Links.
When is Ken supposed to be back home?
I wish I knew.
Okay. Okay. The reason why I asked is I think
it depends upon how things play out.
Okay.
Okay. So, I see. So he's got today's fact of the day actually is already in there. This is an open seas, so this is one of the the test environments where you can create NFTs for free, and we're experimenting with creating NFTs for different items. I know that at one point we had actually. I wonder if there's anything in our collection. I don't even know. These are other folks' collections. So I know that the first NFT that Ken created was actually for one of our Kwanzaa videos. And then as he began to tinker with it, he was like, you know what? We can do something really special with this. So I think that our audience, as you continue to follow us, you're going to find out more and more as we explore this space and as we implement things. I think it will actually be pretty impressive. And we want to always make sure that we share it with our audience so that not only do they, see what we've done, but they hear how they can go about doing it themselves, because, the more people know, the better it is, whether it's telling our stories from a historical sense or telling what we're doing in the here and now. Now, some of the future things that we want to share with our audience, when we were talking about, hey, what are things that BlackFacts has been toying around with? Um, one of the things that we were working on with PayBaby and Wicket Bank was we were looking at an idea of how do we help our unbanked individuals get off of the cycle of using check cashing. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, there's an entire industry of check cashing, you know, services that all they do is take a percentage of our income. And because many in our community, that's the only way they know to go about banking. They've never had a formal bank account. They don't trust banks for whatever reasons. You know, when they get their paycheck, they go to the check cashing place because they got their money right then and there. So one of the things that we participated in was something we call the Ujamaa Community Platform. And that's an idea that's still being worked on where we can say, how do we allow our people to use their cell phones to be able to have an online bank, free checking account, no fees associated with it. But now they can get direct deposit from their jobs. A lot of them work as city jobs or bus drivers or Department of Social Services, etc. Get direct deposit into their Wicket bank account, and now they can make purchases using their telephone as well as a Wicket bank card. And as part of that, they'll also get access to cryptocurrencies, crypto tokens that we're creating, and get credits for that. So in the same way you have a rewards program when you go to Dunkin' Donuts, well, now we have a rewards program for when you buy local. You know, because we want our Black communities to buy and sell from local merchants. So our vision was, hey, can we leverage, you know, technology in a better way to, one, get our people off of this whole idea that if I get paid, I've got to go and give 2.5% to someone else, you know. Two, be able to say, you know what, if I live in the community, I want to shop at my local businesses. So if I'm in Brooklyn, you know, and those local businesses now can offer rewards. So when I buy local, now I get, you know, credits that allow me to get, you know, a free sandwich on Tuesday or save 5% on something else at the dry cleaners. At the end of the day, we as a community can't lift ourselves up if we don't start buying and sell our own products. And if we don't start getting off of those platforms that are really just using us. They're taking our money and going off with it. And then we're just repeating the cycle. Every 2 weeks we get paid, or at the end of the month we get our, you know, our check from whatever, and we go and cash that, not even thinking anymore that, hey, all this money could have been applied to a savings account, could have been applied to other areas. We just know that, hey, I got paid my $250 and I paid them their $25, and now I got my $225 cash and I'm going to go do what I need to do. We want our folks to think and leverage technology better because we all have smartphones. So if we can put together platforms that help empower our people and help us to use technology better, but also help us to work within our own community and buying Black, then we think that's a big step forward. And so this is just one of the things that BlackFacts is working on. I don't know if, you know, Martin, your experience, what you think about ideas like this. Obviously, nothing new is under the sun, but new technology offers new opportunity. You're mute.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So some of this is interesting in the sense that when you start having these conversations about the unbanked, what comes up is a lot of unbanked may not have technology. Their internet may be off. Their Wi-Fi may be off. So I think it's a Du Bois and Booker T. You know, it's a both, right? And so Amex just started a digital checking account. And I'm not a huge fan of their company, but I will say this. When I was researching prepaid, so I've been tracking the digital payments from 99. And I was salivating, you know, who's going to be first. How, because I felt like we weren't going to get Black people on the internet until they could actually do commerce. We weren't going to get them to. It was so difficult getting. Net Zero did a great job at offering free internet, but it was so difficult to get certain. I was selling computers to the Black community in 97, 98, 99, used computers, refurbished, but with a brand new printer and with a cable for the printer and a 2-year warranty. So all my computers had a 2-year warranty. As long as you called me, you could add things to it, whatever. So this was only in New York though. And I physically delivered the computers. There was no drop shipping. There was no Amazon. There was none of that. So I was delivering computers to their home, setting them up in their home in the South Bronx and Yonkers, Jamaica, Queens, all over New York. Saying that to say that, also this time was Boost Mobile, and the Nextel. So people had enough money to pay for the Nextel. They also had enough money to pay for, remember those pagers that were two-way pagers. Mm-hmm. So I was saying, I knew there were billions of dollars in the Black community, and we could definitely do this. And once we got online, where you're saying today in 2022, this was I was envisioning in 2000, but I couldn't. The first company that come online was iGen, and it came online with a prepaid debit card, and it worked. You could get it at Dwayne Reed or CVS, or we didn't really have Walgreens in the hood, Rite Aid or CVS or Dwayne Reed. And then Amazon came into the business. Not Amazon, sorry, Amex, American Express. And I've had an American Express prepaid debit card from the time they started. I will say this about that card and them. They have been the most consistent non-issue debit card I've had my entire life. Like, I can call them. I know exactly what's going to happen. They just started allowing you to send stuff between people. They didn't do that. It was specifically, it did what it was supposed to do, and that's it. So when you were talking, I was thinking, one of the things we need to leverage, when I say we, I mean BlackFacts, is that we have a huge database. We have a huge infrastructure of information. And so getting together with a company like American Express, for people that don't have a digital phone or a digital life, we'll say, for them to be able to walk into wherever this is going to be, like CVS or Walgreens or Family Dollar, and be able to open a checking account through this device, but through this vehicle, we'll say, the American Express, and BlackFacts to be the site that just like everything you have on your screen. I need to sit with you to see some of these slides because these are gorgeous, but I can't really see it because it's not large enough for me yet. But my point is doing that for Amex and doing a partnership with, so yes, have the digital side, but then have the last mile, whether it's Mississippi or Arkansas or some parts of Illinois, Kankakee, Illinois, some parts of Indiana. It's like there's not a consistent Wi-Fi signal. There's not a consistent, people's, their bill they may not be able to pay their bill every month, so their cell phone's off. But they know they have a checking account because it's Amex. And I'm not, I'm sure there's going to be other people that get into the marketplace, but I'm always thinking like, who gets there first and sets up the most, like I would never do a deal with this company, I'm going to say, out of Bennington, ever. Because their product, their prepaid product or their debit card product is hella problematic. So I think, and I would love for a Black bank to be able to do this, but the one Black bank that was online from the day back in the day, everyone has a problem with. And they don't do deals with Black people. So
I will say this though, and Ken has direct experience. Wicked Bank also includes it's an online bank, but it also you get a debit card.
Okay, good.
So
good.
Even when you can't use your phone because you don't have the signal, you still have a debit card that you can access everything. So that's actually included as part of it because obviously they recognize if you don't have a signal, then you can't do the things that you need to do.
Exactly.
So the debit card is tied to your account. So any transaction that you do that you get credit for, you get the rewards program that we're participating in, that's all included as part of the offer.
That's excellent. And we have friends at the Federal Reserve Bank now. So, anything that we have a problem with one of these banks, we can just raise a hand. Excuse me, Governor. So and so busy. Like, I'm just saying, we have friends in
Listen,
Kansas
I
City.
want
We
I
have
want
friends.
to make sure they know who we are, because that's important, and even if it's just the idea that we exist, that they didn't know that we exist, then it takes repetition before they acknowledge that we actually can do something, or that they can partner with
Dale, they
us.
have 2 books about how important Black bank consumers are that most Black people don't even know. The Fed has 2 books about us.
See,
Yeah, so we
Are you
gotta leverage that when we have a problem with or somebody. I'm not saying we're going to, but if I'm just saying we got back, so it's not just that we're stuck with 1 or 2 options.
Mark,
So
are
that,
these books available for access that you're referring to?
Say that again.
Are the books that you just referenced at the
Yes,
federal?
they are available for download or shipped to you for free.
Can you put them in the chat?
The chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And also your family's bookstore, so that we can also leverage purchasing through there.
These books are the Fed books are free, so they'll ship them to you.
Oh, they're
you can
free.
down-
Okay.
Yeah, the Fed's smart. they're like Black folks, we need you to read these books about how great you guys are, but we also know that we shouldn't be charging you to tell you how great you are.
Because you're the reason why we are struggling.
Exactly. Let's not forget that one.
Let's not forget that.
Yeah. So, you know what? This is so funny. This is a good example. So they have this really long URL. I made a Bitly link for their really long URL.
See, there we go.
Bitly.
Oh yeah, you can get to it. You have to speak German and remember 16 digits to.
Right. So I'm searching for the email. Like, wait a minute, I actually made a better link than their link, and it's really simple. More Black bank.
Dale, I have a question while Martin is looking for the link. I had a question for you with the widgets that you were talking about, the banking system. Is there a way that we can track how the progress of the work you all are doing in that area and educate ourselves on it, share our network?
Yeah. What had happened was,
well,
there's only 2 of us,
and
one of us is really only one of us.
That's Ken's line. That's Ken's line.
Setting up servers, right?
No, but seriously, the best way to keep on top of anything that we're doing is just sign up for our newsletter. In fact, I plan to be sending out a newsletter about some of the things that we've done this weekend. We have so many interesting opportunities to explore new technologies and expand on what our offering is. And as I said, in this session, we've just spent 10 or 15 minutes just talking about the unbanked. And I haven't even brought up, some of the other projects that we are working on, because BlackFacts is an idea company. We spend a lot of time thinking about possible ideas and different ways to say, how can we do a better job of leveraging technology to uplift the race? And so unbanked is just one of them. Crypto is just another one. Making sure that we're in the metaverse is just another one. So while many people think that when they come to blackfacts.com, we plan to be Black everything, okay? Right now, we're focused on videos, Black history, and Black news. But, we are already working on so many different things. And, when I had mentioned at the beginning of this session that part of our journey is to make sure that we preserve our past. One of the projects that we're working on is our legacy project. And this is something that actually, of course, Martin has now disappeared. This is something I was hoping to talk to him about, because I don't think he's actually seen any of the things that we're doing in this space. So hopefully he'll get back in a few
I'm
minutes.
here.
So,
I just got a mother and daughter coming back from a doctor's appointment, and I got to put their pizza in the oven. I forgot.
see, neglectful father. I'm telling you.
But listen, so I heard you say you wanted to talk. What was the part you want to talk about?
Oh, you were asking. Oh, I couldn't see this. You were saying you couldn't see the screen, and I was saying, one of our future projects, because we have lots of future projects. It's not just about crypto. It's not just about technology. One of our future projects is how do we preserve the legacy of greatness that we have had over the years. And so we had this thing called the BlackFacts Legacy Project, where we envisioned being able to capture the stories from our members, the stories of their family and people that they know,
Yes. Love that.
so that they can now they become a part of creating Black history, right? And so the idea behind the Legacy Project was simply that, hey, we are losing people all the time, and we want to make sure we keep tabs on their stories and not just the obituary, that, oh my goodness, another great person has passed. So we, as part of the Legacy Project, we said, you know what? All of us have family members who have stories to tell. And BlackFacts, since we collect all that data and index and cross-reference it, how can we leverage technology to do a better job of that? And then leverage our AI engine, which is the core of what we have, to be able to say, hey, when we get information about what you were doing in DC in 1997, we can cross-reference that with, oh, by the way, there was the Million Man March was occurring. Well, 1995 was Million Man March, but all other things were happening at the same time you were doing something, or your family member was doing something. And so you can cross-reference your family history with real history, or with other major Black historical events. And so this is one of, I Ken always talks about what we call our harebrained schemes. And so, the users
So,
may not
a
understand,
couple
but
questions, and I want to
yes,
go back to what Christina was saying. First, when King gets back settled, what we should do, and we probably, honestly, Dell, need to do this maybe every 2 weeks or maybe on a weekly basis, have a data dump, half an hour video conversation. And if we can have somebody like a Christina, not saying you have to be Christina, but somebody like a Christina, and I have somebody on my team that probably could do this. I'll ask them to do this, or it could be somebody on your team, doesn't matter. But that meeting, that data dump, has 5 or 4 parts for the half an hour. So it's 7 minutes per part or something like that. Like, what was accomplished, who did you talk to, who we got to follow up on. Yeah. And then from that, we can extrapolate that video, the 5-minute clip that we put out to the public to keep them alert as to the project. And then we can post that video on the site. So it's not creating a whole new content thing. We need to do the data dump anyway. We need to have this little quick update meeting anyway.
mm-hmm.
How do we extrapolate for the public out of that meeting what they need to know? And that can be also, you can make the video into a GIF, put it in a newsletter, people can click on it and go right to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, BlackFacts YouTube channel, and go watch the video for the update, right? So I want to do that with Ken when he comes back, to make sure that even if he didn't have the right documentation, the Christina's a very valid point. Once you come back from a project, you're on to the next thing. That you lose that information, the little parts of information. Maybe you met a 15-year-old cryptocurrency genius, and you know how we do. 2 months later, oh yes,
Right.
when I was in Detroit, I met so and so. So we've got to do a better job. When I say we, I mean all of us. Do a better job of grabbing out that information, putting it into some place that's a reservoir or a archive or trove, and when we're asking specific questions in that meeting, so that, and it may be specific questions at 3 minute, 6 minute, and I have a person that can think. That's what she does. She thinks through how meetings should flow, so you can easily find the information every time. You don't have to search through the whole video to find. At 3 minutes, the question was there anybody that's special that happened on a trip or whatever. That's one. To what you're saying, I got to ask the question. I know you always answer this question. I always forget. Is the AI that we have creating? Is it a voice? Is it the voice that creates that's automated, or what's the automation there?
The AI cross-references the content. We have a computer. We do use it for computer-generated voice, where it's reading the text
Okay.
of. So our newest videos will have, a voiceover transcript, not just
Okay.
text, because our videos used to just share the message. Now you can listen to Black history, not just see it.
So where we may find really some synergy is the ability to maybe partner with Blooksy. Blooksy is a Black company that has the ability, like an Otter. He created his own engine like Otter. It's really for authors. The reason why I'm saying Blooksy was, he may allow us to license how he does his thing. That's one part of his software, and he's a really good friend. So I'm pretty sure we could put us together. And and he's a coder. He's a real programmer. But the reason why I said that was that it'd be great, Ken, if we could, not Ken, Dale, if we could have people go. We talked about this 2 years ago. Have people go to the special part of the site, give their own oral history or their own account. And maybe it's a link on every page that says, how did you feel? Do you remember where you at when this happened? Click here. Let us know. Yeah. Now, if we didn't use Blooksy, what is available for also very low cost is something called Get Tolstoy. So TOLSTOY, which is a free version of what Video Ask is by Typeform. Video Ask is a ability to have a video conversation back and forth with a person, like this gets in the comment section. Video Ask can be embedded on your site. The up to 20 minutes is free, so we probably wouldn't, we go over that every month. But the other stuff is open source. The one I first mentioned is open source. Again, it's a video commenting exchange widget that you put on your site. So we could do the oral history, as you just said, or ask people, prompt them, have a call to action. Do you remember where were you at when this happened? Or where were you at when that happened? And they can leave that.
I'll tell you, there were two points that you mentioned. One, from the recording oral, people's oral history. One of the projects that is near and dear to Ken's heart was the Say Their Names project, which is really about us capturing people's voices, where people say the names, of Walter Wallace Jr. or George Floyd. And this is something that we'll be probably releasing in March. But the Say Their Names project was intended initially to say, well, how do we let people know all these stories? We have 192, I think it's like up to 230, of our people that have been, wrongly, killed by police. And so we have been capturing all the stories and putting the information together. But part of it, that oral history thing, like it's the technology, right? So if we can use that same technology to say, I want you to say, George Floyd's name, and we can record where you are when you said George Floyd's name, and now we can do a map of, hey, here are all the people around the globe that have said his name. Well, it's capturing that, hey there.
Oh my God. What's her name?
Zora.
Immediate distraction, and everyone is going to be paying attention to nothing more than a pretty baby, right?
Oh my God. The future is before us.
Yeah.
Hi, Princess Zora.
She just sits with Daddy at his desk. So
yeah, because she's a business.
What are we doing?
She's a businesswoman.
So yeah, I mean,
yes.
At the end of the day, the technology that we are working on to allow people to capture the Say Their Name will be the same technology that then we can add a little speaker next to every single fact where people can click on and we ask, where were you when this occurred? or what did this
Yes.
fact make you think about? And we
Yes.
start capturing and then do an automatic transcript to understand what they said, so
Right.
that we know, what's relevant. And now we've got a way to direct feed and have people tell stories, because pictures are triggers, right? So if you
Yes.
are with grandma and you're telling a story, say what happened when, the fact that you can actually pull up on BlackFacts, where you can do a search for a fact by month, day, and year, and say what happened in this year, and show those pictures to the person, and then have that trigger say, oh, you know what? I remember because I was just getting out of college. Like, where were you when the Million Man March occurred? And were you even there, or were you still in school, or whatever? I mean, because I lived in Maryland, so there are all these people coming into Maryland, and my mom was like, "You are not coming down here. You were staying at Boston University." Because I don't know what them crazy people going to do.
Del went into the voice.
Dale, when you were talking about the legacy part, it triggered something else for me. I put it in our private chat because I want you all to learn more about it before sharing it to the public. But there's an organization that works right now, and they hyper focus on the DNA and genealogy of Black Americans, and helping connect you with each other within the U.S. to understand where you came from, but more importantly, how to get access to historical content like land deeds and other legal documents that are impacting a lot of folks right now in dealing with high gentrification areas like Dallas. I know I was on your group, your clubhouse group the other night, Martin, when you all were talking about the gentrification that's happening in Atlanta and Philly and other areas. But one of the things that I was thinking about during your clubhouse group, and then also now, is that most of us aren't educated on how to go about getting access to documents that is available to us to prove ownership of property, of land, of whatever it may be. And so when you were talking about the legacy thing, that triggered in my mind, not only is it an opportunity to connect folks in the community to the larger group to share their story, and profound contributors in their family to the Black movement, but also it gives it opens up another pathway where individuals can connect and find relatives and get access to resources that would help them better leverage whatever situation they may be dealing with. Gentrification being one of them at the highest level. It's generational wealth and other knowledge issues.
I think Christina just gave herself a licensing revenue fee there, Del, because she just created a way for she just solved a problem for Black digital outlets. And when I say outlets, I don't mean just newspaper or what's name. This could be deployed across, like, because of them, we can. Site like that, or I Love Being Black site, where developed the right way, this would just be like you have with the widget for the BlackFacts. This would just be a way for a Black site to have a button that you can tell, maybe it's just speak Black, instead of speak back, it's just speak Black. And that button of that software or that widget allows Black folks to speak Black and just tell their story about whatever. Like when I wore this great T-shirt, or when my son first saw Because of Them They Can, and he wanted to be a model, or you follow what I'm saying? Like Christina just created a software.
Who
Well, I
knows?
tell you, like a few years back, we had actually heard from, I think it was 23andMe, because they were thinking about asking to be a sponsor for BlackFacts because they wanted to have a place where they could, reach out to people of color to say they want to continue their genealogy map, So they want,
Right.
I know some of my cousins have already done that and traced our roots all the way back. And, even some of the, some of my coworkers have done the same thing. So we have always felt like at some point we really want to do that because, I think it's 85% of all the slaves in America and their generation can be traced back to Charleston, South Carolina. And so there's a big museum being set up there right now. But basically, that was the biggest slave trading port. And when they began to trace the roots of people, who came into America and whether they were then moved down south and then they had the Great Migration, they moved up north or whatever, 85% of the people of color who, were descendants of slaves came through South Carolina. And so there's like a movement to say, how can we trace ourselves from there and then go all the way back to see what tribes in Africa we're from? And we think that as part of BlackFacts, if we can find a way to integrate with some of these tools, there was another company that focused just on, like 23andMe was just in general, like Ancestry.com, but there was one that I heard of that
There's an African one,
yeah, just on African American. There's just
AfricanAncestry.com.
Exactly, like African Ancestry or something like that. And we haven't had a chance to reach back out to them, but that's that. All of this is tied to what our mission of how do we leverage technology to bring our people together? How do we leverage technology to tell our stories, past and present? The last thing, because I know we're almost out of time, and I actually have another meeting that I'm trying not to be late for. Last time I was late. But the last thing I wanted to mention for those who are familiar with BlackFacts.com, one of our goals in time for Black History Month was to create a video series for a timeline of events, in American Black history. And, we had started this series and gotten most of it done, and we just finished it yesterday, in fact.
Congratulations.
So we now
Real quick, though, do we have a Black Tech Trailblazers section?
Not specifically. We haven't, because we have to collect the name. It's funny, it's on our list of series because we actually want to do Blacks in STEM, so we wanted to do a specific showcase on that. But this series we just finished, and, we basically have, I think, like 32 videos for historical milestones by date, from 1619 to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And these are all events that influenced and impacted people of color. And so the entire series, we had been, madly, early on in the month, we'd gotten up to the Dred Scott case. And then I was like, okay, let's keep going. Then we ended up, so we got, African Americans in World War II, and we slowly began to fill it in. And we just finished that series. If you go to blackfacts.com/America, you can see that entire series. And I will say this, in one of the milestones, there was the Black Lives Matter movement, and that got blocked by YouTube. And so we're having to redo that particular milestone. And the reason why it was blocked, it was because it had a picture of the police officer with his knee on George Floyd's neck. And, they felt that was too much violence. And we appealed it and said, wait a minute, this is what happened. You have all kinds of stuff that's out there on the internet, and it's a picture. It doesn't, but it just shows the police officer looking at the crowd.
What
YouTube
they meant
said,
to
nope.
say, hey, this makes us look bad. We got to take this down.
Yeah. So the Black Lives Matter milestone is missing. but all the other ones are in there right now. And we're going to have to redo the video and not include that image. So we're just going to do like the George Floyd mural as a replacement image. But it is another example of how other folks can control our own destiny and our own messaging. And those are the things we want to try to avoid. We are over time. My apologies for everyone. Thank you all.
Thank you.
I've got to jump off and get on to my next meeting.
Have
Next
a great
week-
rest of your day.
Next week, we'll have
See
another
you next
session.
week.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Stay black.